back to the martial arts edge. Today I'm going to be teaching you a wrist roll, which is, you'll see me do this often when I'm just holding the bow. This is a really good way to transition from grip to grip and a really good way to create some flair in your spins. So don't go anywhere. We're going to turn up the heat. Alrighty, so a wrist roll just means that I'm rolling the bow around my wrist. It's actually around my hand, hand rolls. We do this a lot with nunchucks, but we're gonna do it with the bow. Now, what's important, like this bow has a nice little marking right in the center, so it helps me kind of feel where it is, but I can also see where this is. In order to do a wrist roll, I really need to make sure that my hand is lopsided to one side and the heavier part of the bow is underneath. Because what happens is I'm gonna take the heavier part and I'm gonna bring it past 12 o'clock. And once I do here, I just let go and it will roll, and then I just turn my hand back around and I grab the bow. So you can do it slow. As a matter of fact, if you do it right, you should be able to do this super slow. That's how you know you have it right. And then you can just throw it and it'll literally wrap around your hand. And you're just kind of doing this little circle. If you watch my hand, see how I kind of curl into it? Once I do that, it just kind of rolls around my hand. Now, if I get too far, it's a much slower spin. So the closer you are to that middle, without being over the middle, is good. If I'm underneath, if the heavier part is up top and I do this, it'll fly out to the side. That gets a little dangerous. So you got to be careful with this. If it's here and I do this, that's how you kind of stall it out and you bring it back. It'll want to shoot out. So you got to be careful with it. So always important, the heavier part of the bow needs to be underneath. And by the time I grip it, I should be somewhere around that middle line. That's where you want to be, right here. Okay? So this is a good wrist roll. Just like this. Notice what I'm doing, I'll back up so you can see. What I'm doing is, here's the middle, I'm here, I roll it, and then I'm sliding it down. Roll, slide, roll, slide. If you want to put it here, you could do it like that. All right? This is a simple wrist roll. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now make sure you don't let go too soon. If I do this and let go, the bow will release. And when it releases, that's bad. So you have to make sure that bottom gets past 12 o'clock, and then you can let it go and it'll carry on. Now, what you do with one hand, you probably should learn to do with the other. So a good way to do this is I will wrist roll this. Notice, here's my center, right here. Here's my center. I'm gonna roll it, thumb is up, and I let it fall into my other hands. And notice where I'm grabbing it. I'm grabbing it just past the center line, and then I'm going to push it and roll it around the other side. Let it fall. This is a really good way for you to practice both sides wrist roll. Right? So this is kind of like my go-to. Anytime you see me with a bow, I'm just doing this back and forth. Is it okay to play with the bow? Absolutely. The more you play with it, the better your feeling is going to be for it. Then you can put some spin into it, like really speed. And this is also, incidentally, how you'll eventually learn your releases. When you release the bow, it's the opposite. Instead of going over bottom or pinky to thumb, goes over to pinky and goes to thumb, you'll start going thumb to pinky, right? And that essentially is a release. Really good way to do it, okay? So when do you use your wrist rolls? Well, one of the best ways you can do it is by continuing into this with a handoff. Here's what I mean. So as I spin and I go over, this is a wrist roll. Well, I am actually going to spin this into another hand, just like that. So if you notice, I'm doing here, I'm just going to take my other hand, put it on top of my wrist, and grab it. That's all I'm doing, grabbing. And I do this fast, it just kind of rolls into the grip. I just kind of meet it, right? And then notice my wrists are stuck together. I'm not changing here. My wrists are going to stay here, and then I hand it off to my other hand. Continue the roll. Hand it off. Continue the roll. Hand it off. Slow motion. Roll. Hand. There we go. Just like this. So if you can practice this, notice my wrists are not coming apart. They're staying just stuck together. When you get a nice fluent rhythm with this, you end up getting this spin here. And you can get some pretty good speed on it, right? So then you go back the other way. See? Easy. It just takes time and practice. What will happen is you'll grab it too soon. Instead of letting it pass and grab, you'll grab it too soon. And when you do that, it will walk. See how I'm walking towards the end of the bow? You don't want that, right? So you want to make sure that you're just trading where your grip is. Let your elbows flare out. See, my elbows are going out, then in, out, then in, out, then in, out, then in. An easy little spin that you can do with the wrist roll. Alrighty, so a magic tool that you can use to help you get your wrist rolls, and especially that spin, that wrist roll handoff right, is to use a ball, right? So I'm just gonna hand it, hand it, hand it, hand it, hand it, hand it. You can just practice this motion. Notice my wrists are kind of stuck together. This is a good way to practice to make sure that you are not switching your wrists. You don't want to switch your wrist on this one. It'll mess you up and ultimately slow down your spin. So practice that if you want to. Pick up a ball and practice your spins. All right, so there you go. That is a wrist roll with an added handoff on that one. So practice that. Please make sure you're practicing safely. If you need a bow, if you don't have one, click the link below. I have it in the description. It takes you to my store, and you can order yourself a bow, and it will be shipped directly to you, which is always convenient. So get a bow that's about ear to top of the head, maybe an inch or two above, but nothing more. For me, I'm 5'9". I have a 5.5 foot bow. And as always, please make sure you hit that like button. If you're enjoying these and want more, please make sure you subscribe, ding that bell, and I'll see you in my next class.